What up? We are live and we are back. Welcome to another episode of What's Your Grails. I'm Tony Sanders, and tonight my special guest is none other than Comics with Bueller.
Hey everybody, what show is this? What's going on, everybody? Tony, thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited. I've been on your channel before, and I get to make another appearance. I was on the hunt one time. I still say I won. You say I lost. Different opinions. That's all right. There's no contest. We're just doing the grails, and I got a wall of grails behind me, and I'm excited to be here, man. So thank you so much.
Oh man, thanks for coming on the show, man. And dude, your set, I love your set, dude. Like you have, like that's phenomenal. Like the way it's set up back there now.
I got like 5 different sets, Tony. It keeps me busy, and you know, one thing I try to do is every one of my sets, you can identify what video I'm doing by the set. You can tell by the copy video what it is. You can tell by a haul video. You can tell by my preview video. They're all different, and that's they kind of have their own look to them on each and every one. It's kind of what I shoot for. So my whole house, you can tell I'm single because if I wasn't, this wouldn't happen. So like this, right now we're in my bedroom, and this wouldn't fly if I was if I had a girlfriend or a wife or whatnot. And then my dining room, the dining room table is gone. One wall is one set, the other wall is another set, and then in my front room is where the coffee episodes are filmed. And there's literally like a 10 by 10 box on the wall that's painted red for the background, and everything else is color. So it's good to be single sometimes. That's what I can get away with.
Oh yeah, my wife is trying to get me out of the man cave. She wants to condense me down into a little room, and me and my sons have put up a steady blockade of no. And the comic books keep amassing over here and on the mantle and around the room, and she keeps looking in here, and she's trying to find a strategic way to take over her living room again, but the man cave still stands to this day.
Well, my whole house has now become the man cave. And Sam, he's in the chat there. He knows. He comes over every now and then. He sees it, and he's like, you know, the funny thing is my son looks at it, and he kind of just gets that look on his face. He's like, oh my God, what's happening? Because he'll go to work and come home, and there'll be like a new design on the wall. So I don't know, whatever, right? It's all good.
Heck yeah, as long as you're having fun doing it. So usually I start the show off and I ask my guest, what is your holy grail?
Do I just tell you one grail, or
however many you got?
Well, I mean, I have a lot, and my definition of grail has changed over the last couple of years, to be honest with you, as far as monetary value of the book or emotional attachment to the book. I think all that comes into play, and that's kind of where I'm going to, where more so the grails in my category are more of the emotional attachment and what they mean to me, more so than the dollar value. But when you get a book that's a combination, you know, of both, that's like, yeah, hitting the jackpot. And I have a couple of those, and of course I'm using my great little wall display here to show off my books. And like this one is probably my holy grail that I've always wanted. And I'm very excited to show that off. And this one has that monetary value. It's a very spendy book. And then it also has that emotional value because it was a gift from someone in the community, who's Steve Whiting, who is in the chat right now. He sent this to me as an act of kindness. And it's a book I've always wanted. So as far as the holy grail that I've always wanted, monetary wise, it's this one. And then with the additional added emotional value, because it was sent to me as a gift, it just makes it that much more special. But that's
basically it's
one. Yeah,
it's like a personal grail as well as your holy grail.
Yeah, double category covered. That's what that one does. But you know, it's one of many. You know, and when I look at it and I think about, okay, the house is on fire, what books do I grab? You know, and it's not all the books, but it's that book, but it's also a book that's only like worth $1 as well. But there's an emotional attachment to it, and you know, so that's kind of what I consider grails. Does that answer your question, Tony?
Yes, it does. And not to divert from your answering of the question, but I'd like to give a shout out to Comic Geek McD. If you did not see the video, speaking of grails, he achieved his holy grail on his video. It's a very emotional video. Go check that out if you have not seen it. I suggest you do. Comic Geek McD, man, congrats, dude. You deserve it, dude. For all your ups and downs, dude. For all your struggles, man. Glad that you got what you wanted. And it's like, you know, dude, living, you know, you just live it, dude. That's how you got to get it, you know.
Was that the New Mutants 98? Was that his grail?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that is, yes.
It's a couple people are talking to me about it today, and I saw a little bit of video because I think he did a live stream, and he was on someone else's live stream as well yesterday. And didn't he get a 9.8 CGC or something like that?
Yeah, from Grails Anonymous. They
I
sent
didn't know that.
The ones that I sent Jeffrey his Grail after I sent it to him first. But I'm just messing with people. But Grails Anonymous, that's a cool deal that they do, man. I don't even know who they are, but like I appreciate that they're in the community, and that just shows that the love that this community has, and like the links that we go through to, you know, see that people go and get their dreams accomplished, or get, you know, that book that they've been looking for.
That's very cool. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that, and like I said, I caught them both on it. I didn't know it was from them. I didn't know where he got it from. I thought maybe it was AOK, but I didn't really know. But that's awesome. I mean, that's a great book. You know, a lot of people is a big fan of Deadpool, so to add that to your collection, and a 9.8, I don't know what those go for.
Oh, but, dude,
that's one of those books that it's a personal grail because it was a gift, you know, and then it was a grail because you like that character or something like that. So that kind of falls in the same line as a Hulk 181. So that's awesome.
Oh yeah. Excuse me, my sidekick is standing right next to me. What is it, son? You want my phone?
He wants to go to Taco Bell.
Okay, well, Dad's doing a show right now. Did you want to make a guest? Here, you got to make a guest appearance because I'm talking to you for a second. Come here. You don't want to come here? Okay, well, then you have to go back to your room, then. See, this is live. See, this is live. You can't script stuff like that. So anyway, he didn't tell me what he wanted, but my son was just here. But yeah. So back to the show, people. Sorry. So yeah, that is true. Like that is a personal grail for him, as well as a monetary grail, because it is a valuable book, and as well as, you know, but that, like, the only thing he could do to it now is get it signed, but I would not crack that open at a 9.8. Do not do it. So it's not worth the Rob Liefeld signature.
Just have him sign the case.
Yeah, do that. Yes, you can do that. Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. I've seen that done. I have one of those. It's not signed. It's not signed by the artist. It's signed by the person who sent it to me as a gift.
See, now McD, me and you are Grail Bros now, dude. Me and you are Grail Bros.
That's awesome. Now, see, I had that book, and I gave it away.
See, but that's cool though. Like, you gave it away though. Like,
it was.
That's like.
It was. I had the whole run of New Mutants 1 through 100, and I did I think it was my 750 subscriber contest, and that was the grand prize. Was instead of me sending a big box of stuff like I was doing before.
Oh, what you did with Reggie?
Yeah, I was like, man, this cost me $45 to ship this huge box to California. And I go, instead of doing a big box with a bunch of stuff, I'm going to do one book and save on shipping. So I do one book, which is that one. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to break up my New Mutants run, and I'll just, you know, dump that collection or whatnot. And the person who won is in Canada, and it cost me more to ship the book to Canada than it would the cost to ship the big box I shipped out of the last one.
Oh man, that's wrong. Yeah, Canada kills it though. That's like I'll be on eBay and I'll be looking to buy stuff sometimes, and like I don't mean to be, but I love like Tim, the Canadian comic collector. He's like one of my buddies, and like I love, you know, no problem with Canadians, but like that mail, boy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me about the Bueller boxes. Oh, do you ship overseas or, you know, outside the U.S.? And I just flat out tell them it's not worth it. It's not for the money it costs to ship. Just take that $30 and then go to your comic shop and buy some books. It's not worth it because it's just so much money to spend on shipping. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna show you one of my grails that I hunted down this past few months ago, and been looking for it, didn't find it, but did get it though, so happy to have it. And it's one of the most graphic covers I've ever seen. And like I always just call it the Bucky with the bat cover because it's Bucky with a bat.
Oh, okay.
And it's a World War II Schlumberg Captain America, and it's number 39. And yeah, it's just like very graphic sometimes, but like I like the whole like I always wanted one of these, and it was like all the categories that I wanted of it, like the World War II cover, the early Cap Schlumberg cover, and you know I just dude like even though it's a .5, dude, it presents pretty good, and it'll always be known as the Bucky with the bat cover.
Did you buy it graded?
Yeah. Bought it graded. It'd been like on. I checked it out. It was on. It's on Go Collect. It's on Go Collect. I checked it out a few times, and like it's been sold around a few times, and like that was a book that I really looked into before I actually made the purchase on it because I did not want to buy it and end up with like something that was nothing that I wanted or something. But I'm glad to have that book in my collection. I'm looking to get more early Golden Age Cap, but Golden Age is a murky water that you don't want to delve into.
I don't think I have any Golden Age comics. I think it's a category I'm not tremendously interested in.
Yeah,
because it was before my time, really, and I like buying books. I've said this before. I like buying books that I'm familiar with, or I can relate to, or I remember seeing on the shelf. Exactly. And the Golden Age books those are my father's books, and they just don't have that emotional connection to me. Now, if I find them for like a really good price, I'm not going to turn them down. I'm not an idiot, but it's not something I'm actively seeking out. I honestly like the stuff from the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, probably the best. Especially 80 stuff is, that's the stuff I like. That was my time. I was looking at some books. I pulled some here, and I was like, oh, I remember that. That got me into collecting the Avengers, or that got me into that. And that was all stuff I saw when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. And that's the stuff I remember, and that's the stuff I enjoy.
Yeah, that's why I tell people Golden Age, like when I talk to JD or like, and it's like, it's a different kind of style of collecting, but in its own self. But I was going to show this book as well. This book is special to me, and it should be special to you because it's like it's a funny inside joke between me and you.
Come on.
It's yours, but I keep it in my house. It's the sketch script that Alex the Comic Reporter had.
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly what that book is.
Yeah, you upgraded. Okay.
See how mine has the color added to it? Mine's not the black and white variant.
Yeah.
The color version.
See the contrast, people? See, this is why I call it the sketch variant. Now look at this one. Now, Bueller.
Yeah. Then you got this one that actually has coloring. So that's really cool. I like mine. It's this was a gift. I think I told you. Didn't I tell you that?
Yeah, you told me it was a gift, yes.
Yeah, this was sent to me from Steven Spock. He sent me this book as an act of kindness and stuff. And,
Steven Spock, he's real cool.
Yeah, he knew I wanted it. It's the one I've been looking, and obviously I put a bid in on that one. And, I'll just tell everybody the story. Here's the story about this thing. So he's got that book, okay, and like Alex the Comic Reporter, he was selling some books on Instagram, all right, and he posts that book on there. I'm like, whoa, I need that. What was it? Was it 125?
Yeah, 125. Yeah.
Okay, 125. Okay, and I'm like the first one to see it on there. So I message Alex. I go, Alex, hey, that's a book I've been looking for. I think this was on like a Friday or something like that. I go, hey, would you mind holding it till Monday, type thing. And I go, but if somebody else wants it, no worries. No worries at all. And Alex is like, oh, I'm trying to get rid of it today. I was like, that's okay. Like I said, if it's still there Monday, I'll pick it up, but I got some other things I have to take care of. Literally, as soon as I clicked over and refreshed my Instagram, there's Tony's name underneath the thing. It says, I want it, or something like that.
What's your PayPal? That's what I had put up there. What's your PayPal?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I see it on there, and sure enough, Alex messages me back. He was like, yeah, it's gone and stuff. So Tony bought it. It was there. It was in my hands, and that's all right. It went to a good home. you know, and here it all worked out at the end, right? Because you have a copy, and I mean it's a weird looking copy. It's not normal.
No, it's not. But it's like
I have a regular copy. Yours is autographed by Chris Claremont. Chris Claremont's going to be here next week. I'll get mine autographed as well.
That's cool.
So it was all meant to be. So, but well, sometimes you miss out, and then it finds its way back. And you know, you had to pay $125 for yours, and I didn't have to pay a thing for mine. So it all worked out just fine.
And that's the hustle. He won. He won the hunt.
And the good thing is, something actually came up to where I probably wouldn't have been able to buy it on that Monday because a bill came or something like that. I just remember seeing, oh, I got to take care of that. So it worked out in the end. We both got our books, and we're both pretty happy. But yeah, we'll always be bonded. What was it? Hashtag X-Men 94 Sniper.
Yeah, X-Men 94 Sniper. So yeah, that book will always be infamously connected between us two. So like I said, like that's funny to me. Yeah, and I see you have a book back there that I consider one of my grails that you got, and it's the Amazing Spider-Man 33, and that's like actually it's right here. There's mine right there. You can kind of see it right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. It's obviously if you watch the copy video, I have a big huge poster of that Amazing Spider-Man number 33. That's the backdrop for my video, and I've always loved the cover. I think I got a really good deal on that book. It's not like the best of shape, and which is okay, you know, but it's an awesome cover, awesome story, and you know, I actually had to pay for that one, so that was a little
Yes, I do too, and like it's like I'd actually posted on Instagram and if you've never seen the inside pages of that on Instagram on my Instagram somewhere on my page somewhere I posted it where you could actually see like the actual what he does when he lifts up the actual rubble off his back and stuff. And it's kind of cool because he has like visions of Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and then like, you know, he's thinking like, you know, is this the end? And then he's like, no, and then he just like, you know, just hulks out, I guess you would say, and he just lifts it off of him.
They lifted that scene into the movie.
Yeah.
And
it was like, and that's why, like, to me, that's like always one of my favorite covers. Like, it always be, and we coined it as a cover grail. Like, it's not so much the story, more like the cover that you enjoy. Yeah.
Well, that one, and then the other one, the 100, the Amazing Spider-Man 100.
Yeah, I've been looking at those. And like,
those are two of my favorite covers by far.
Yeah, I like that 100. And it's like, I've looked at that, and it's like, I was like, and like one that's underlooked a lot, and I used it for a Pieta cover on the Hunt, and JD actually wanted to get a copy of it because he liked it. Was I think it's Amazing Spider-Man 90, where the death of Captain Stacy. And a lot of people don't talk about that one, but it's actually like if you read the actual book, because I just bought it raw, and I read it, and like, dude, like, to me that's a story grail. That right there is like the panels in there are like really emotional. So like if you ever have a chance, get a copy of that Amazing Spider-Man 90, The Death of Captain Stacy, I believe, because I have a copy in my long box, but I'm not going to dig it out because it'll take me probably like, I don't know, forever. And but I believe it's 90. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it's 90. It's Spider-Man climbing up the side of a building holding a body, but you can't see the face, but it's Captain Stacy, and it's a great story. Read it. If you haven't read it, go online, do whatever you can to get a chance to read it, but it's a story grail.
Yeah, that's cool. I like this is this one right here, which is number 61 right there. That's the first appearance of Gwen Stacy on the cover, I believe, which that's one of my favorites. You can see it okay?
Oh, yeah.
And then this one right here, which is number 42, that's the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson. And which I like that one. And I got the first appearance of Rhino. Just a little bit of everything. First Punisher. I don't know. It's
Mountain Man. And that Mountain Man, is it Marco? Is it Mountain Man?
Yeah, Mountain Marco.
Marco. Yeah, I got that one. Yeah. I love that one. Like, is he like only used twice? Like, he'd be like a great like sub boss before the boss. Like a little low class villain. Like what's the one, Flat Top or whatever that guy is.
Hammerhead.
Yeah, Hammerhead. Yeah, like that would be a great, like a Spider-Man villain, and then you run into like what is it, Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Like bam,
there's another first appearance in that one. I don't know exactly who it is, but I think there's 2 in that book. But number 73 is Spider-Man. But I like my Spider-Man collection. I'm pretty happy with what I got. There's obviously some pretty bigger grails I don't have, and that might find their way to me. I mean, I think I don't know if I told you this, but I had the first appearance of Scorpion, Amazing Spider-Man, and I lost it. I literally cannot find it. I lost it a year ago. I think I threw it away.
Oh man,
I have no idea where it went. I had it here. I even had it in the video one time, I think. And then like before I knew it, it's gone. And because I bought like 4 books in a row. I bought the first appearance of Rhino, first appearance of Scorpion, first appearance of Shocker, and first appearance of the Prowler. I bought all 4 of those books. And I lost one of them. And it might have went out in the recycling. I have no idea. So right now I only have the Marvel Tales version of that book. So
see, that drives me crazy. Like when I'm looking for a book and I know it's somewhere, and like you digging through like all these long boxes, and it's like you have the book, but you're searching for it, and it's like, and sometimes I'll like just stop and I'll just be like, man, look, I need a break. Hold on a second. There's too many boxes. Like I look through like these 3 over here. I got like 6 or 7 more over here to go through. I'm like, man, but sometimes if you want to read it or if you're just looking for it for a reason, you have to do those things, and it's digging through those long boxes, as Tebow says, I guess.
When you think about how many boxes we've probably gone through, not just in our own collection, but just digging through those boxes at shows or conventions or stores, it's countless. I think I went to a thing like a couple weeks ago, and they were having a sale, and I just spent the whole day just flipping through boxes looking for books, and I'm looking at this other guy, and he was there the whole time, the same time I was. And he's just doing the same thing. And we just kind of look up at each other like, yep, that's the way it is, just through these boxes.
So I'm going to tell you the story that happened to me. Well, not me, but my son today. And he's going to probably kill me later on in life, but it's funny right now to me. And it's funny to his older brothers and me. So I went to my buddy's shop today, and I was digging, as you say, in those long boxes today at my buddy's shop. And my buddy has a big British bulldog, and I'm talking about big. He's got like this one, like kind of lazy eye, this kind of glassed up, like and his name is Tank, and like when I go there, Tank's, he's always cool. My little son doesn't really always go, but my older sons, they usually go with me, and so like we'll go there and like hang out or whatever, and I'll be looking through stuff. Well, today my youngest son decided that he wanted to go because I was going to take him to GameStop after we went to the comic book store or whatever. And so he went with us, and so we went, and I'm digging through the boxes. My sons are looking at the PlayStation 2 games and stuff that he has on the shelves and stuff. And Tank walks up to my son, and they're sitting there playing and stuff. And my son's kind of like off to the distance from me, but like not too far away. And then like he walks over to me, and he's like, "Dad, look, the dog likes me." I'm like, "Hey, oh, cool." But because you're digging, you're digging, and you're not really paying attention. And then so I look down because like there's something moving by my leg now, and there's like, so I look down, and Tank, this big, and he's probably a pretty big sized dog. This big dog is like lashed itself around my son's leg and has proceeded to, do his business.
Yep.
And so I like stop doing what I'm doing, grab my son, and then like I like pick him up, and like as I pick him up, like the dog comes with him. So I'm like, oh shit, and so like my buddy starts like looking like laughing, and he's like, Tank, and then like the dog looks up from what he's doing, and then like, let's go. And then, but like the whole fact that he looked up whenever he said Tank, I just started laughing. And my son was just like, "It's not funny, Dad." I'm like, "I know it's not funny, but the way the dog looked when he did it, it was just like, like he got caught, like, oops."
The dog had the O face. Oh.
Yeah.
And so didn't know what was going on.
And so So, but that's not the end of it though. So like, all right, we had broke that up, right? So, you know, I go back to digging. And so like my son's like on one side of the store and the dog's like at the front of the store. And so my son, he makes his way over to where his brothers are at, over where the video games are at. And so he's over there. And then like the dog slowly makes his way over there. And like my son takes off running. And so then this big bulldog starts running after my son.
Oh my God.
And so I'm like, dude, like get your dog. And like my buddy is like, hey. And then like the dog's just like, he does the face again. And I'm like, dude, like, so like my son has to literally go outside. I'm like, go outside, son, because I was just dying because I'm just like, he never comes really. So like that's the first time he came with us. And it was just like one of those things where I think he doesn't want to go back. So I don't want to spoil him from going to like a comic book store. So I told him, I was like, it's okay. It just happened.
It's okay. It just happened that one little time. So this is the type of comic store that Tony goes to on a regular basis. Let me tell you something right there. That's a little gross.
Hey, hey, man, it's a little well off little spot. He has that's his dog. I can't help that. It was funny though to me. I just thought it was hilarious.
Oh my
God. Back to some more Grail. Sorry about that.
There's a question here from Gomez Comic Collector. He said, "Are those your Comics Bueller or your LCS?" This is my bedroom. So everything you see behind me that's on the wall, these are all my books. So that's I used to film stuff at a comic shop. I haven't done that for quite some time. So everything I show you guys is all pretty much what I have.
Yeah. Quick shots at the Chun, Mr. Gretzky, Steve Whiting, Comics for All People, #1. Sam, hey, what's up, Sam Single Web? Then we got Discovery Bay and Comic Bro, what is up? And then we got MTW Show TV. How you doing tonight? Who that? What's up, bro? Comic Books NYC and Caleb Comics Smurf. Everybody else that came out tonight, Soldier Only. Good to see all y'all tonight.
Is Comic Smurf in the chat?
He was earlier. I don't know if he is now. Bub's Comics is here too.
Okay.
But he should. Like, hey, Smurf, are you here? If you are, let us know.
Because so there's something wrong with Smurf's stuff that his comments or stuff in the chat. I think the Comic Smurf is a moderator for Comic Tom. Okay, and I am as well. Okay. And like Tom was doing a video or premiere, and there was a bunch of like stuff going on in the premiere in the chat and stuff. So he had all of us kind of some like trolls and stuff like that. Yeah, and I think I accidentally hit Comic Smurf and do them because I for some reason I never see this stuff in the chat, but then I hear people say, "Oh, there's Comic Smurf," so his stuff never shows up. But I look on my end, and I don't have anything blocked or missing on my end. So I think it's probably on Tom's channel, and that's why I can't see it. So if Comic Smurf, if you've been leaving comments or saying hello and I haven't said hello back, my apologies. But that's what happened. So there you go.
Oh man! Speaking of Comic Smurf, this is a package that I got from him. I won on an auction.
Oh, nice.
And if it makes you feel any better, Bueller, I sniped Alex Comic.
Now what goes around comes around, man. That's
awesome. So this is something that me, him, and Manny NYC were all bidding on, but there was something I needed in this that was like a kind of a personal thing for me.
So this is from an auction?
Yeah, this is from an auction, but I needed it as like. See, that's what's good about the community is we recycle.
There you go.
Yes.
I like those boxes.
Yes, man, they're good.
I think they're pretty cool. I ordered a couple of those Spider-Man booth boxes because I wanted to try them out, and I got a couple of them. And you know, the books are fine. There's a couple of variants that were pretty cool. They're not really ones I probably would buy because I don't buy like variants that are above cover price. But I thought they were cool. But the thing I liked the best about the box was the physical box itself.
Yeah.
Was really cool. So I like that a lot.
Oh, yeah. So this is a book that I wanted because of all the MCU stuff. And then, the Red
Oh,
Skull
nice.
holding the cosmic cube in his hand and a cap on the cover. So I wanted that. That's like something I'm probably gonna send to CGC just because I thought it was kind of a cool deal to have.
Do you
The
do
cap
a lot of CGC grade and everything?
not a lot, just stuff that I want to keep for myself or my collection. Like stuff that I like read, I don't because like I like to read it. Like I read The Flash right now, so I won't. And this won't ever get CGC. This is just like laying around. Like Shazam, I read that, so it just lays around. And then we read Naomi, which my son is very disappointed in Naomi for some reason.
Yeah.
And we have that laying around, and some people will be like, "Oh, why aren't you sending it to CGC?" I'm like, "Because my son reads it, and he's like wants to know what the deal is, and so we're reading it, and he says it's a slow read, and so he's this is the comments from a 15-year-old. So listen well."
So I want to ask you something. I want to get your honest opinion because I know that you have a little bit of history, and I know you talked to this guy. It's the guy that Tony Trombetta.
Yeah.
He does the grading thing. Okay. So he's doing something new. Okay, that I saw, and with the color labels. All right.
Yeah. The color labels.
And you know I don't grade things, so it's not really a thing for me. But Bill mentioned this to me, and he's like, "Oh, this is really cool," and he kind of told me about it before he did the video and stuff like that. And he was like, "Oh, this is a game changer." And I saw it, and I'll just be honest, because of the way I don't really grade things, I just, okay, whatever, you know. But I want to ask you, because I know you do, and I know you've used their service. Does the color coordination of the labels, does that draw you in a little bit? What do you think?
All right, well, let me show you, because this is the question that I get asked. And like sometimes labels don't matter to me, but like all right, like certain times like I want certain things. And this book was a book that it's a signature grail, and it's also an artist grail, and it's Jim Lee's first work in Marvel. So it was like I wanted it to be a gold label, and there's no way to get that because it's already signed. In order for me to get this book signed already, I got this from overseas.
Okay.
And so it was like I bought it, I got it, and then it was like I could have sent it to CBCS and waited 6 months for a red label, or either send it to CGC and get a green label.
Yeah.
But it just looks better with a gold label. I mean, you can't with a gold signature, yellow cover, gold label. It just, you know. So if they're doing a color thing like that or whatever, then that'd be kind of cool. Because like I was telling today, Erod. Matter of fact, Erod from the New York Warriors. I was telling him because I posted that picture of the A-Force of the Adam Hughes that I posted today.
Yeah.
On Instagram, and I posted that right. Well, I told Erod that I was probably gonna send that to him, but I wanted to get it signed by Adam Hughes, and he said he might be up at Baltimore or something like that. So I was gonna send it to Erod and have him press and clean it. And I told him I was like, I want it signed, but I don't want it witnessed. I want it a red label.
Okay.
Because the book cover is red, all of it's
red.
I got you. Yeah. So red, instead of a yellow label, it wouldn't look right. So a red label with that book would look awesome. So I, yeah, kind of. So maybe I would be more into that, like because like a Hulk book with green would look cool. A Green Lantern book with green would look cool. So yeah, I mean, like it's kind of a cool deal. As long as people know that it's not like when you get a color label from them that it's like that's their way of grading, like hey, this person. I mean, well, if you look at what CGC they're doing, like I sent the Avengers number 12 where Iron Man's holding the Infinity Gauntlet. I sent that to CGC, and I got the label thing, right? Well, instead of like it's an Avengers book, right? Well, instead of the Avengers logo thing, the label, I asked for an Iron Man one. So I will see if they do it, and if they do it, then like it's kind of like its own made era, I guess, because like it's an Avengers book, but I made them put an Iron Man logo up there for me. So but that's the label I wanted, because to me that's the significance of that book. It's not an Avengers book. I mean, yeah, it was an Avengers movie, but it's more like an Iron Man moment. So
how would you feel about different color backing boards?
That would be kind of cool too, but like it depends. Like if it's like, as long as it's like it doesn't bleed on the book or something like that. If it's just like it's cool, you can just put your book in there, leave it in there for a while, it'd be fine. So I wouldn't mind that. So colors, yes, I'm fond of colors.
That's good to know. But not for your X-Men 94, right?
Yeah, well, except for that, that's a rare. So this book right here was one of the main reasons why that I bought it, because this is like the actual first appearance of the Red Skull. There's the other one, but it's like a fake imposter or something like that, and this is the actual Red Skull. And this is also the first issue where they refer to repulsor beams and repulsor rays and stuff like that. So I bought that for this, and this is going to go to CGC because I wanted that too. Just because I'm like an Iron Man, you know, I've always been a Captain America fan, so like I'm kind of like an Iron Man kick. So that's another thing that was kind of like a little grail for me.
So is on your grails? I mean, do you have a personal grail that outweighs your monetary grail?
Oh, personal grail? Yeah, I'll show you. Like, and this has no real monetary value to it, but it's like, to me, it's the most significant book that I own. And people always look at me like I'm crazy, but I don't care, but I'll show it all the time. This book, if all else fails, would be the first thing that I would grab. I mean, like, yeah, I have other, you know, you're probably like, you got a giant size X-Men, you got Flash and blah, blah, blah. This and that. Dude, I don't care. Like, this is my favorite superhero. This is one of his most significant moments to me on a cover. Like, you know, like for him to get this costume on a cover, and then for, you know, Gil Kane to draw it, and you got my favorite, you know, character on here, Captain America 2, and then you got Captain Marvel, and he's got his iconic costume, and then Bucky's on there too, which Bucky should have got the shield at the end, but okay, Sam Wilson got it, but it's okay. But yeah,
how long do you have that one?
This actually, I bought this raw off of eBay like when I first got back into collecting, and I had it raw because I read it, and then like the guy said it was probably like a 5, and then my buddy has another copy at his store, and I've been looking about buying that one just to have a reader copy again.
Sure.
And so yeah, like that's the draws of like wanting the CGC stuff, is like you can protect your stuff, but like then the con, you know, like the cons of it is like you have to go get the book again or whatever if you want to read it, or either download it offline or whatever. But you know, it's, hey, you know, at least my sons will have this book or whatever. But to me, this is like always going to be one of my, you know, go all books right here.
That's awesome. That's very cool, man. They need to make a facsimile of that. That'd be cool.
What's funny is like ETA Nick did a video on it because he was talking. I was like, when I seen the video, I was like, I hit him up and I was like, yeah, dude, that's my Grail. Like, you know, that's like one of my favorite books. And ETA Nick was like, yeah, it's an undervalued key, and I was like, I know, but yeah, I mean, it's the first time. It's like the first time he's on the cover with all this stuff, you know. So, but that's one of my, you know.
I don't know if you saw, but Steven Spock is in the chat. Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. And he asked me what color label would Bueller get for a My Little Pony book. I said pink and yellow, but I also want to add glitter. There has to be glitter on the label as well.
Oh, for sure.
That would be awesome. But Steven Spock, actually, both Steven Spock and Steve Whiting are here, and both of those guys, Steven Spock gave me the 94. And then Steve Whiting gave me the Hulk 181.
That is
and
cool.
When I look and I'm trying to see here from Heroes to Icons. Let's see. I think if I'm not mistaken, because I grabbed some from Heroes to Icons, sent me that one.
Oh, that is cool.
He did that. He did the artwork on it as a blank, and that's from Heroes to Icons. It's autographed by him and stuff, so that's really cool. But I got a lot of great books, and then I got let's see, I see Sam in there too. Where did I put that one? Hold on, Sam. What else are you gonna do, Sam? Right? So you know, Sam comes over here and just takes my books, right? He says he always does his videos, and he goes, "Look at the books that Bueller gave me. I didn't give him anything. He just times it just right. He just grabs stuff." I had, oh, here it is right here. So like this one is from Sam. Sam gave me this one. This is the final Fantastic Four book. and Sam autographed that one, so it's kind of cool. I mean, these type of books to me are grails. Mr. Gretzky 9966. I received stuff from him, you know, and Spectre Comics. I received some stuff from him as well. You know.
Here, I'll show you one that I got from.
I
actually, I was on Instagram, right, and the cool story behind this book is like I was on Instagram and I was looking through this guy's page and you know, just different comic books and stuff, and like he was selling them, and I seen this book and I'd never seen it before, and I hit the guy up and I was like, hey, you know, didn't know the guy from anywhere, but just like browsing through his stuff, you know, whatever. And I was like, hey man, do you still have this book? And like, he was like, you know, I don't know. And you get home, and I hit you up. So I'm thinking, you know, the guy's just gonna blow me off or whatever, you know, not even hit me back up. And so he ends up messaging me back and he's like, yeah, I do have the book. It's he said like $20 or $30 or something like that. And so I PayPal'd him the money, and like the guy, he actually does. I've talked about him before. It's Black House Comics. He does Instagram DM sales and stuff, and like I get a lot of cool books from that guy, and he ships really well. His motto is bulletproof shipping, so I always make, you know, kind of little jokes about that because he does that. But he sent me this book, and like ever since then, like me and this dude have like talked, you know. I've been in his sales. I promote him all the time because, you know, he's a cool dude. And but like this book kind of like bonded our friendship on Instagram, and like, you know, this is kind of like anytime I look at this book, it reminds me of that dude, and it's kind of cool because it's a 9.8 and it's Amazing Spider-Man 794. But what I like about it is the variant edition, and it's the West Coast Avengers, man. I just love
cool.
how it looks with the you know, I've always liked that Iron Man suit, the Silver Centurion.
I don't know, man.
Like, I've always liked it, and then I've always liked that cap suit too. I've always liked that.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always liked that.
That was called. He was called the Captain, wasn't he?
Yeah, the captain or whatever. Yeah. So that's why I've always liked that suit or whatever. But it's like, and I don't know. I guess it's like with the captain, I like the black suit. With Spider-Man, I like when he has the black suit.
Well, I wanted to show. I mean, you kind of you showed the West Coast Avengers variant type thing, and you know, when I was talking about grails, like emotional grails or stuff like that, I grabbed these books really quick. But this is one of the series that really got me into, you know, collecting comics. You know, I remember seeing this limited 4-issue set sitting at the grocery store, and I was like 8 years old. And but the West Coast Avengers, I love these. This one and all 4 of them, you know, I mean, they're not really worth anything. But when I think of moment comics, you know, what happened in the moment when I got them and stuff like that really affected my collecting in the future. This is a series that kind of did it. You know, this was one like, oh, I really like that. I want to know more about the Avengers type thing. And then when they came out with the West Coast Avengers #1, the ongoing series.
Yes, I have that. Yeah.
Even though it wasn't very good, but it had Wonder Man on it, dude. I love that guy. That guy was awesome.
I used to love those little rocket things he had on the side when he would fly, and I thought that was just cool for some reason. I don't know, as a kid, I was like, yo, I'd like to have that rocket belt that that guy's got.
But I mean, I consider those Grail comics, but like Grail in a different way of like.
See, like this is what we're talking about, like the little.
Yeah.
You get those little rocket things on the side right there where you would fly. That stuff right there. But
I liked his old suit better. I liked it with the little overcoat and stuff and the glasses. I thought he looked pretty cool when he had that stuff going on. So
he's a pretty like undervalued member of the Avengers. Like I thought he was always gonna make an appearance. Like they could have done him in the MCU. Like it wouldn't have been like that hard to pull him out. You know, just like throw Wonder Man out there real quick. But you know.
But this is another one that was
I'll just quick trivia fact. The reason why there is a Wonder Man because Marvel wanted the Wonder Man right, so they couldn't do a DC Wonder Man or whatever. So Marvel grabbed that name up as like, hey, Wonder Man, we got it. So
I like him. They did a horrible series in the 90s and late or maybe 2000s with him that wasn't very good. But he has a couple one shots that were kind of entertaining. I wish they'd bring that character back. He was kind of fun. Yeah. But this one right here is also another like moment grail. and this is beat up. But this was probably my main introduction into DC books. But this is the Dark Knight Returns, and this graphic novel. It's beat the hell. I mean, I've read this.
Love, man. That's just love.
Yeah, I've read this 100 times probably, man. And this came out when I was 11, and I remember getting this and reading this book. I'm like, whoa, that's not the Batman. I remember watching the cartoon, or not the cartoon, but the TV show. I'm like, well, that's not the TV show I watched. It's definitely not the Michael Keaton movie I watched either.
Oh, no.
But that, Grail has a different opinion in everybody's book, I think. And I think there's different ones that you can talk about. I think I did a thing on Grails a couple weeks ago, and I kind of mentioned the different, the moment Grails, the personal Grails, the monetary Grails, and but they all mean something to everybody. And the ones that mean the most to me now are the ones that are gifts from the people in the community, because I never thought I would receive stuff like that, and now it's something I got some today, and I get a lot of ALKs from people that aren't YouTube people. Okay. They're not people, cool. They don't do channels, they don't do stuff like that. They don't really do Instagram that much. They're just people that watch our videos. They watch you, they watch me, they watch, and they don't comment very often, but every now and then I'll get ALKs from them. And like today, I got an act of kindness with a bunch of books, and they're going to go in the Bueller box. There's like one book I'm keeping that they wanted me to keep, but there's like 3 little kids, and all 3 of the kids like did a drawing for me.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's to Bueller from Eli. He did that, and they're all like 12 years or younger. This one is from Jake to Bueller, and that.
Wait, hold that one up. Hold that one up.
I like that one a lot.
Oh, that was and it's the black costume. Yeah. Oh, that is sweet.
That's awesome. I saw that. I was like, whoa, that's Secret Wars 8 right there. So
yeah, that is clean.
You could put a what if right there up top. What if Captain America got the symbiote? That'd be awesome. But
I'd be all in. I'd buy 2 copies, CGC and one for me.
Yep. Very cool. And then Carly, she did this one. She drew this, and she's a big Captain Marvel fan, and
yes.
She me. But they're just kids, and I get stuff like that every now and then, and that's the type of stuff that outweighs anything I have that has something I bought or with a physical value or whatnot. It's the stuff like that that's like that's the stuff I'm gonna grab. Like you're gonna grab that Captain Marvel if the house is on fire. This type of stuff is the stuff I'm gonna grab because 1, they take the time to watch my videos, and 2, they take the time to do things like this and send them to me from all over the world and stuff. And
that's cool.
It's pretty awesome. I'm a very lucky guy, and I can't state that enough. And I'm very grateful as well.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm gonna show this book right here. This book is it takes me back to my childhood. This is like a book I enjoyed reading. And I always say I'm a fan of obscure characters as well as teams. And this was a team for the '90s for me. And so when I got this book, it was right before Stan Lee passed, and kind of glad I got it. It's just not weird that he signed it, but I have it though. That's New Warriors #1 and a 9.2. It's signed by Stan Lee and Mark Bagley.
That's really cool. I don't have a Stan Lee signature. That's one thing I do not have in my collection.
Yeah, I got just this one because I bought this right before, and it was I don't know, man. I just always liked Speedball. I liked him, and then Nova. I was a fan of Nova, and then when they introduced Night Thrasher, it was kind of cool, because he was the team leader, and he was African American. Not saying that was a big deal, but it was just I resonated with that whole team that they were outsiders. They wanted to do stuff. They weren't the Avengers. They weren't the X-Men. They were just a bunch of punk kids, stuck in situations that they shouldn't be in. But I enjoyed it. So it was real to me.
That New Warrior, those are. Sam likes those books. It's because we'll go to the comic shop, and I'm sure that everyone's been there. There's a very big selection of New Warriors books in the 50-cent boxes. I mean, literally a whole long box is New Warriors. Not #1, but pretty much everything after number 1.
Oh yeah.
These sets of those are great books. You know, it's some of the books like you know, like I said, I don't have any Stan Lee signatures, but like Sam has pointed out, like Ravage 2099. Okay, that was a Stan Lee book. That was written by Stan Lee. I didn't know that. You know, that's a book nobody looks at. You know, it's sitting in the dollar bins or 50-cent bins. It's a Stan Lee original story and character and stuff. And there's all sorts of really cool things out there like that people just aren't aware of.
Yeah, and see, like another Grail of mine that I got, and it's another Stan Sig, and I've showed it a few times, but like I got it because I wanted something of Captain Marvel, and I wanted something signed by Stan, and this was a book that I bought off eBay, and I wasn't sure if it was his signature or not because it was kind of a weird looking signature, so I just like took a shot in the dark and sent it into CBCS, and 7, 8, I forgot how long months later. I lost count, dude. but eventually got my books back. And this came back this is a Marvel Generations, Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel #1. And I love the cover on it. And it's signed by Stan Lee, and it's a 9.6.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's something that's going to stay in my collection, and I'm going to give it to my kids, but it's just like something that I had to have. I was like, dude, this dude is my favorite character ever, and like she carries his legacy, even though they kind of screw up on some of the stuff that she does.
Yeah,
but, like she carries his legacy, so you know, Stan, you know, hey, you got to have that signature at least on one of his Captain Marvel things or whatever.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to come into town, and I'll try to get a signature. Come on, that's horrible. Don't do that, Tony.
Oh no, you can't. I can't believe you did that.
No, I'm just kidding. We all love that guy. You know, this thing. You know, I like signatures, but I like signatures that I get a moment of time to spend with the person who's doing it, type thing. Oh, yeah. So as much as I don't have like a Stan Lee, and maybe I'd like to get one, but unfortunately I missed the time where I would have had the chance to sit or to talk with them and say thank you and stuff like that, because he's no longer with us.
Exactly.
So getting a signature now, Stan Lee, although it'd be nice, it wouldn't mean as much. It's like sitting down with someone and you know, talking a little bit about, you know, oh, you made the Punisher. That's pretty cool, you know, and so those signatures I have on those books, you know, those mean a lot to me. So I'm trying to limit my signatures to stuff like that. I did find a Rob Liefeld autographed Youngbloods in the 50-cent bin last week. I was like, dude, that's Rob Liefeld. Like, Tony's gonna be jealous.
I need that. Let me get that. Speaking of signatures and early 90s, and yeah, this one I got back. This is from C2E2, and this was I sat down and talked with him. Silverstreet is a cool dude, Mark Silverstreet. Kind of a rock star kind of dude. Like he just like he actually had that rock star whole thing about he had like a stylist there with him and stuff, bodyguards, and then like he was late and he posted on Instagram he was late. He didn't care. And so like I'm standing in line and like it pops up on Instagram like Mark Silverstreet late for signing. I'm like, wow, really? Come on, man. But I got it signed. Dude was cool. Got a picture with him and Ming from Comic Book Men.
Yeah.
And 9.8. First appearance of Cyberforce. Love the cover. And this is just like one of the stepping stones in my quest for all the first appearance image like issues by the creators. First, like one of the steps. So it's in motion, people. It's in motion.
Sam was with me on Saturday, and I think it was Saturday. We went to a comic shop, and I'm sitting there and I'm going through their boxes. And I'm going through all Image 90 stuff. I'm literally just flipping through like Shadowhawk, okay? And there's like 100 Shadowhawks in there, and they're all like #1 and #2, just dime a dozen. And he's like looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just looking through this, and all of a sudden I go, there it is, that's what I wanted. And he looks over, and I go, and it's autographed by Jim Valentino. And that's the type of thing you will find because there's so many of them. And they were autographed years and years ago, and people just tossed them type thing, you know, and they're sitting in 50-cent boxes. So I'm literally just, I went through like all of Supreme. I went through all of Wildcats, all of Cyberforce, all of like Savage Dragon, just looking for autographs on the cover. And I found 2 so far. So I'm still looking, man. But it's
hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, hey, you can find an autograph on a book. That's cool. That's like Simon Comics on Instagram. He posted on Instagram that he had got Avengers 16, and it was a 1.0, and it says on inside of cover says on first page says signed by Stan Lee or something like that. And he was like, "Should I crack it open?" And I was like, I hit him up and I was like, "Are you like just wanting to read it, or you want to see if the Stan Lee's really in there?" And he was just like, "I want to see if it's in there." And so he ended up cracking it open and whatever, and like, which no big, that's kind of cool, in itself. And it was Stan Lee's signature inside the book. And it was a 1.0 or whatever. So it was still signed, by Stan Lee. Even though if you sent it back in, it'd still be a 1.0 and it would still say the same thing. But, just the fact that he only paid $30 for the book, I told him, I was like, that's the hustle of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I found Chris Claremont's signature. I found like the whole set of X-Men, all 4 of the covers. And all 4 of them were autographed by Chris Claremont.
That's crazy.
They were sitting in the dollar boxes, 50-cent boxes. I found Jim Lee's signature on some X-Men books, that he worked on and stuff like that. So I just kind of look, because a lot of times we're flipping through those boxes and we're just looking for a certain issue. Mm-hmm. But I'll take a second and just kind of look at the cover just to see if there's a signature on it, because you can find them on there. People, like I said, they just discard them after a while and they don't think twice about it. They probably don't even remember having those signatures on those books. That's why they got rid of them. So
yeah, that's like last year I bought a lot of Avengers books because I was just like one of these books, and I just bought them. I didn't know at the time because like they had like it was Miss Marvel, which is like Carol Danvers when she first joins the Avengers, and like I wanted that, but there was some other stuff in there, right? So when I get this lot, I get the lot. I open it up, look in there, and like, I get the book that I want. And then like I know it's on the cover and pen, there's a name wrote on it. And I'm like, what? I'm like, who wrote on this? And I'm like, well, I'm thinking like, I'm mad because I'm like, well, they didn't say there was writing on the name, like a name written on the cover. And I'm mad, like, like the value's ruined. And I'm like, dude. And so I'm like, I look and I'm like, why does that look familiar? And then I'm looking, and I'm like, does that say George Perez?
Oh, nice.
And it was George Perez wrote on the cover in pen. And then like on I had Avengers 200, the weird issue where Carol, if you've never read, all right, I'm gonna explain this issue. This issue is so weird because literally Carol Danvers or Miss Marvel or whatever you want to call her, she is forced upon by a gentleman and impregnated.
Yeah.
And turns out that the baby is the gentleman. Yeah. And the whole time the Avengers are just like,
yeah,
have at it. Do what you're gonna do. They're not doing anything. And it's like, okay, it's just the weirdest story. But I had that book, and when you open up the book on the first page, it says it's signed George Perez at the bottom.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's
there's in that book there's a first appearance of a character too. That if I'm not mistaken, it's like because I showed that when I did my comic collections video. I showed my Avengers books, and number 200, I have that book, and I was showing that book, and there's a first appearance, but I wouldn't say the name because the name was like I can't remember what it was. I'm not saying that on my channel.
So if you want another name and you want to read the story, go get Avengers 200 and be wowed by.
I can't. I gotta look it up now, man. Because I told Sam the other day, I was like, dude, I wasn't gonna say it on camera because it was so horrible. And let me look it up. But yeah, I have that book, and I remember the story, or somebody telling me about that. I was like, dude, that's horrible. Let me look here.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like a bonus to one of the weirdest books ever. But like, yeah, I got that book signed by George Perez. The actual the Avengers, where it's the origin of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, it's signed by George Perez on the cover. So yeah, there's like books like that out there. And like I didn't even know, like it wasn't advertised when I bought the lot. It wasn't said upon. It was just like writing on the book. So I was just like, that's kind of cool. So
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to get, man. So always check your books. Like if you get like raw books, look on the inside, you know, because old school, you know, back in the day, they used to write on the inside.
Well, now I can't find it. I don't know, but it's
Comic Bro said Avengers 200 worst story ever.
it's a first appearance something. Oh man. Oh well. Anyway, I dropped my phone too, so that's all right. Whatever. It's gone now.
But yeah, so if you want to know, yeah, 200, yeah, weird story. Yeah, it's so weird that to me it was good. Yeah, hey Tony Trambetta, what is up? We were just talking about you earlier about the colors and the labels, which was kind of a cool idea because we were saying how I would enjoy that myself. I'm like, yes.
Very cool.
So before we finish up, Bueller, what do you got coming up?
As far as on the channel, I just put out my comic book collection video, Daredevil, like about a half hour before we jumped on here. So that came out today. And it's all my Daredevil books, and I point out some of the keys that are in there that I have. And then tomorrow night, Tom is a guest on what we're doing live stream tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. same time I normally do it. And Tom is going to be on there from Comic Tom 101, and we're going to be talking about the CBSI list and what exactly it is. It's a, you know what, I asked Tom one time, I said, you know what, I really don't even know what the CBSI list is when I first started collecting and how it was put together and the process or whatnot, you know. And you know, I saw it from afar and I said, okay, that's how they do it. And then I looked into it a little bit, and what I found when I looked into it, I go, okay, that makes more sense, type thing. And so I wanted to have Tom on. We're going to talk about that and kind of break it down to its basic form. That way, for new people who are coming on board who are curious about that, they kind of know where it's coming from. Because I think a lot of times, a lot of people will just assume that they know, or like you assume your audience knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And like for the longest time, and I've said this before, I had no idea what an art germ was. And I heard the phrase art germ all the time. And I was like, what the heck is an art germ? Is that some new thing? And it took me like a year before I realized that was a name of an artist. And, you know, I just, you know, sometimes people assume stuff like that. So
yeah,
we're going to break it down from the very basic and kind of build it up so people will know and have that reference. So we're going to be doing that on tomorrow night at 5:30. And then I don't think I have anything going on for the weekend because there's a comic book swap meet on Saturday that I'm meeting Sam at, and another gentleman, Bob, and probably some other people. So we're going to be buying some books, and then probably my coffee video on Monday. But that's about it. You know, just my normal stuff. And then there's a Comic-Con in 2 weeks, or I'm sorry, next weekend there's a Comic-Con. And they've got Jim Lee there, Chris Claremont, Jim Shooter, Jay Lee. God, there's so many. I'm forgetting all the people that are there, but it's just like a really good lineup. And there's a good chance that I'll tell you this. I spent 2 hours on the phone talking with the guy who's putting on the con. And we've worked something out. So it's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to going up there and doing I can't really say too much because we haven't finalized it, but it'll be a good opportunity for myself, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
We'll be looking forward to see more about that.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, tomorrow I will be on the hunt trying to get back my championship. From Chad 90 FM Comics, and our special guest will be Chad. Well, Chad's defending the championship, and the special guest will be the Underwhaler, White Whale Comics.
Underwhaler.
Yes, the Underwhaler.
What a horrible name.
From the deep depths of the Dead Sea.
Oh.
So yeah, join us tomorrow, 8 Pacific Standard Time. So just join us tomorrow. It's going to be a 5-way, fatal 5-way. So everybody's going to bring their best books, man. I'm coming hard tomorrow. So Man, Bueller, it's great to have you on, man. I'm glad you came on and did this and showed everybody your grails. And join me next week when the guest is going to be Discovery Bay, because we'll be discovered.
He's got some grails.
Oh yeah. He won. He won the. Did you see when he won the spider? Yeah, the.
Yep, he got the 181. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So yeah, congrats on that. But yeah, so guys, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Bueller, thank you for coming on. And this has been What's Your Grails, and I'll catch you guys next week. And I'll see you tomorrow on the hunt.